If you want to be able to hack this and create that for yourself, just create a more compelling vision. But it's got to be something that really fucking matters to you. 9 times out of 10, the reason people aren't moving is because their vision is just not compelling enough for their heart. It's got to be more specific for you. The world has taught us some of the most fundamentally useless ways of thinking about success that actually go against our biology when it comes to achievement and happiness, success and peace. We are taught to push through pain at any cost, to use pressure to persist, focus on the goal, and do whatever it takes to get there. This is useful if the goal is to not starve to death. But success by any means necessary comes at a remarkable cost to our future self. Our mantra around here is not a penny from pressure, only pleasure. The More Alive podcast exists to lead us into a new way of achieving and replace outdated advice that threaten the dream life that actually makes us feel more alive. I'm your host, Andrea Crowder, mom, truth teller, and lover of daydreaming, here to help create a world where we all feel more alive. Welcome to the show. Going to do Q&A and a 4-word response. Andrea, how do I get over a no when I felt in my core that it was going to be a yes? Go find another yes. Period. I've been doing this work consistently for 3 years and I haven't been able to attract consistent income. You're not asking for the sale enough. And part of that is because you are afraid of how you'll feel if nobody responds. It's the discomfort of the void that actually has created the inconsistency. It's the discomfort around disappointment. Somebody asked me a while ago, he said, Andrea, what's your relationship with disappointment? And the answer was different depending on which area of my life. If it came to money, if it came to men, if it came to business. Men, I was deeply afraid of disappointment. Money, I really had eliminated that because I found that disappointment was alchemized by making another ask, by creating a new piece of content, by starting a conversation with a new person. Literally, I can tell you right now that if you put all of the people that you've talked to, or if you put all of the posts that you've ever made, if you put all of the likes that have ever come from any post or anything that you ever done on social media, and you look at the inconsistency, if you looked at the numbers and you're like, okay, Andrea says, if I get in the presence of truth, suffering eliminates itself. Sometimes we have to choke on a little bit of truth, but it won't feel bad. It'll be like, oh shit, like a good kind of choke. You know, wink, wink, because eventually it will create pleasure for you when you're willing to look at what's actually happening. If you guys, I'm all about like being your magic, be inspirational, like follow your intuition. Like there is a place for that in my world, but there's also a place for truth of the numbers. And if I'm like, oh my gosh, poor me, because I'm not making money every single time I've gone back and I've looked at like, how many times have I said, how many times have I made the offer? How many emails have I sent? How many asks have I made? How many people have I actually talked to? Every single time it was bare fucking minimum. On a great day, if you are really, really skilled when it comes to sales, you'll probably close anywhere between 1, 2, 3, 4 out of every 10 people you talk to. If you are not so great at sales, you might close every 1 in 20 people that you talk to. But if you're selling like a one-on-one coaching program and you're like, I only need 2 new customers this month in order to meet my goal, then as soon as you know what your numbers are, as soon as you know your closing ratio, you're going to be able to go make the close in a month. If you know, I just have to go talk to 40 people because 1 in 20 will say yes to me. For me, I'm about 5 out of every 10 people. If I talk to you one-on-one, I'm going to close 50%. Not because I'm great at sales, but because I'm great at helping people see what they really want. And I'm also great at helping people eliminate doubt. And so my ability to close a sale, I don't even like those words, but like just to stay in the realm of like normal sales language, my closing ratio is 50%. Typically, if I'm actually having that conversation with people, if it's a sales page, it can be anywhere between like 5% if we're running ads to it, to maybe like 16 or even 20% if we're running it to warm market. But now I know, like, if I want a certain number of sales, if I want to make a certain amount of money, I've got to get that sales page in front of X number of people. My only job is to get the sales page in front of X number of people, or my only job is to have one-on-one conversations. My only job might be to go, this isn't for me, but this might be for you, depending on your personality. My friend Kim, she does great when she's in person. So she likes to go to live events. She sets up booth for her amazing tea that supports your hormones and your cycles. She talks to people. She goes to these health fairs all the time. I could not be found at a health fair, like cannot be found. I'm not going to grow my business that way. It doesn't bring me joy. Right. But like what brings me joy is like getting curious about how I can tweak a sales page a little bit more, how I can get it in front of more people, how I could get in front of somebody else's audience. Maybe I need to ask to get on other people's podcasts, but I'm going to start getting curious. I'm not going to be like, you know what? It's not been consistent. I'm going to say, if I were to look at the numbers, what is consistent? Where is the consistency? The consistency is, okay, I did get a yes, but then I slowly didn't ask for more over the next 2 months. So I didn't get another one for 90 days or whatever is true. But there is consistency. It's not inconsistent at all. It's very, very consistent when you look at the data. You will see the pattern. It's just nobody fucking looks. Why? Because the story of the sensation happening in our chest tends to be the loudest one in the room, and we believe it. And if your story is creating suffering, it's not true. It's the only thing in the room that's not factual at all. You guys hear me all the time. When you're in the presence of truth, suffering eliminates itself. So if you actually look at the data, if you look at the patterns, if you look at what is consistent, there is consistency within the inconsistency. Where are the patterns? And then how do you collapse time? How do you just do something a little bit more? And most of the time we do a little bit more when we get out of our own fucking way and we don't make the numbers mean anything. We're just like, oh my God, she said no. That was an awesome conversation. Thanks, next. Period. So it's not actually inconsistent at all. What is next? Somebody asked, why will I not get started? It's either because you want what someone else wants and you don't actually really fucking want it for yourself. Have you ever asked your kids, you're like, oh, you should try this. And they like want to see you happy. So they're like, yeah, I love it. And then they don't do anything. And you're thinking like they're out of integrity and they're just like, they're not doing the thing that they said that they wanted to. When in reality, the only thing that they wanted was to see you be happy. And we're so confused. Like, I don't believe kids are actually lazy. I believe that they don't have a clear vision of something that actually makes them want to move. And so they're just saying yes to your vision and then they're not executing it because they don't have real energy behind it. Like, kids are not lazy. They just lack vision that moves them. You're not lazy. You're not stuck. You just lack vision that moves you. I said in a previous episode, I said, if the earth were to split and your kid was on the other side, you wouldn't know how, but you would find a way. If there were an earthquake, the earth completely split and you're like, I have to figure out how to build a bridge. I've never built a bridge in my entire life. I've never actually built anything with my hands in my entire life. You will resource yourself with greater speed than you've ever seen in your entire life because you have a vision that is very compelling. So either your vision isn't compelling for you, or the next question is you don't believe you're worthy, you don't believe you're capable, or you're afraid to lose love. So all we have to do is look at either what we're afraid of. And even if we are afraid, even if we are like, you know what, I'm afraid that like this person will get mad at me if I have it. I'm afraid that I'm not capable. If we dial in the vision and make it more compelling, we will move anyway. I'm queen of all the subconscious work. And I'm like, let's get in there. Let's do the subconscious reprogramming. We can do all of that. And it can be very useful. But if you want to bypass all of it and you want something that works fast, it's create a vision that is significantly more compelling to where the urgency is the only thing that matters. You've got to dial in what is going to make you hungry, and then you will move. I know that because if you look at science now says that a neuroscientist can see and predict the decision that we'll make 11 seconds before we're aware of the decision, which means that it's happening subconsciously before we've even chosen. And what happens when a decision is made? Energy is flooded into the body and then we're in motion. So if you have to pee, you're not even thinking about it, right? Your body's made the decision. It's time to go eliminate. All of a sudden you find yourself walking to the bathroom. Most of the time there wasn't actually a choice that was being made at a conscious level. You just find yourself there and then you use the bathroom, right? So that's what's happening, right? Like the body creates an urge, sends it to the body. Your body's in motion. If you want to be able to hack this and create that for yourself, just create a more compelling vision. But it's got to be something that really fucking matters to you. 9 times out of 10, the reason people aren't moving is because their vision is just not compelling enough for their heart. It's got to be more specific for you. If you guys like this episode, please comment, review, share with a friend, hit me up in a DM. I love it when you guys DM me and you're like, you know what? I never thought about it that way. Or if you have a request, please hit the link below. You guys can actually leave a voicemail, put in a request for a future episode, and we may air it for you too. I love you and thank you for tuning in to the More Alive podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of More Alive. But you already know the conversation doesn't end here. In fact, if you check the show notes, you will see that there's a link where you can essentially leave us a voicemail. You can comment on today's episode, tell us what was your mic drop moment, and you can also ask questions. Your audio might be featured on a future More Alive episode. So also, if something in today's episode really hit home with you, share it. Think about somebody who might need to hear that. And you guys already know, I love chatting with you guys in the DMs. So come over to Instagram, slide into my DMs and tell me what hit hardest today. I want to hear from you. And if you want to keep this energy going, you already know, let's make this official. Subscribe, leave a review, and let's turn this shit into a movement because you know, the more alive you feel, the more alive the world becomes. Okay, so Kim has already been on the podcast. So you guys have probably heard the episode where she talks about what we're talking about, cycle syncing. She's a hormone specialist. And so Kim developed this brand of teas that sync with your cycle. There's a different tea for every phase of your cycle. And so she not only came and gave everybody some tea to take home, we did a tea ritual together. We talked about hormone balancing and cycle syncing, but she also guided us through this beautiful, hip opening activation. She's just a freak like that. I love it. And she's so grounded. And literally, if you guys need a hormone specialist in your corner of someone who is going to help you understand what to be eating, how to be balancing your periods, she knows it from all the perspectives of the right supplements, as well as the teas, as well as the rituals. She's trained in Reiki. She does it from both the medicinal side as well as the energetic side, which I do appreciate somebody who can balance both. But Kim and I met at a bar here in Fort Lauderdale, and she walked up with this guy that I think she was on her second or third date with him. And he starts talking, and I just turned around with my friend and I look at him and I was like, what's your sign? But she looked at me and she's like, who's this girl talking about zodiac signs in the middle of Southern Florida? It's not really a thing down here. So she and I became instant friends and have traveled the world together now. And she's my go-to if I have a question about what's going on with my period or my hormones or energy being out of sync or anything to do with that lower region energetically. By the way, her teas, she does yoni steams. You guys might have heard me tell the story about was having this raunchy breakup and I kept running into my ex and I was like, why do I keep running into him? I went home and I did one of Kim's yoni steams. I literally steamed my vagina and I stopped running into him. And I'm like, okay, apparently some shit we had to clear. So if you guys need a breakup ritual, Kim also has you. I'm like, I love her teas for bouncing hormones, but like for me, it's about the yoni steam. And I tell everyone if you're having a breakup, you need a yoni steam by Kim.